Good morning. It's Saturday, February 11th, and today I want to talk about a man who should have been a hero in the eyes of the American people. And I'm talking about Mike Pence, our former vice president, who on January 6th stood his ground against the onslaught of the Trump acolytes who had invaded the Capitol. He stood his ground, and we saw images of him streaking down the corridors of the Capitol to avoid the people yelling, "Hang Mike Pence." And his former boss was encouraging him to not do his duties. And there were many in his party who were against his actions. They were against him certifying Joe Biden's win. And Pence performed admirably. And a deed that should have taken a couple of hours lingered on and on and on. And Pence remained at his post and refused the begging of President Trump for him to not do his duty. And then there were people like Ted Cruz who raised objections to what Pence was about to do. Pence stood his ground. And based upon that, he should have been a shoo-in for the presidential elect candidate for 2024. But that is not the case. That is not the case. For whatever reason, Mike Pence has not taken advantage of the image that he created on January 6th. He has avoided publicly speaking out about the events of that day. He has avoided testifying in any way, shape, or form about what was going on. And now he is ignoring a subpoena that was sent to him by Jack Smith. Jack Smith is the special counsel that was appointed by Merrick Garland to look into the events of January 6th. And Jack Smith has requested documents and testimony related to the failed attempt of Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. And for some reason, Mike Pence has refused to honor the subpoena. And in my mind, that is a terrible mistake. If he really wants to be the president, he should be stepping up there and being honest with the American people. But I think what's happened with Mike Pence is loyalty to the party over the country. Mike Pence does not want to infuriate members of the Republican Party who are linked together in some insidious way. So Pence has refused to testify before the committee. Now, Smith was appointed in November to oversee the investigation into Trump's potential mishandling of classified documents and things. So I don't know why Pence would object to being subpoenaed to talk about events that took place during his vice presidency. He might be able to shed light on things that were going on, that shouldn't have been going on. And it would enhance his image as an honest, forthright gentleman, a man worthy of the presidency. But this hiding from the subpoena is not helping his cause in any way, shape, or form. This refusal to testify before the committee, in my mind, is a big mistake. But I believe that Mike Pence believes that if he testifies, the Republicans in this country will not vote for him. He believes that they are still in favor of the Trump regime and that his testimony would be looked upon as a betrayal of the cause. Now, I don't believe that 100%. I think the nation needs to hear what Mike Pence has to say. And maybe Mike Pence should recognize the fact that there is an independent group of 30% of the voters that would appreciate him testifying. And they may very well offset the damages that he believes he's going to do to his presidency, his presidential goals with respect to the Republican Party. He may gain more people by testifying than lose more people. And wouldn't people appreciate the fact that we're going to have an honest man in the White House? Pence has already proved that he's devoutly religious in many, many ways. Now he could establish the fact that he not only is religious, but he's a man of principle. He's an honest man, and he belongs in the White House. So I don't understand why he won't testify. This subpoena that Jack Smith sent over to Mike Pence is a major escalation in Smith's efforts to get the goods on Trump and his allies, the goods that will prove that they were really trying to overturn the election. We saw it on TV. I don't even know why we need to have a special counsel investigating this thing. Everybody in this country saw those videos. There was no question, and they heard Trump say that. But this is a nation of laws, and I guess they have to prove it. So they subpoenaed Pence, and he hasn't responded, and his cohorts, his allies, his assistants, or whatever they are, have ignored it also. They haven't attempted to get Pence to acquiesce to the subpoena. Now, maybe Pence, being sort of in the shadows of Trump, he might try to invoke claims of executive privilege over the information that Smith is looking. That could set up a lengthy and contentious legal battle, because there's no clear precedent about executive privilege as associated with the vice president. At least none that I know of. And so Pence has dug himself a huge hole in my mind. He had a clear shot if he would have acted appropriately right from the get-go. But I believe that his loyalties to the party are greater than his loyalties to the country and the people who voted him in. So Pence is sitting there on the edge, fighting of a subpoena that is legitimate and is desperately needed to put the nail in Trump's court, so to speak. Now, that might not even do it, but Pence has pissed away his advantage. He had a huge advantage coming out of January 6th. He's a hero in the minds of many on both sides of the aisle. But his actions since then have not been presidential. They have not been leader-like. He has said nothing. And he has let people like DeSantis and Nikki Haley get ahead of him in line. And both of them have better credentials right now than Pence does, because Pence has avoided saying anything. But he's still gone down and spoken in the first states that are going to hold the primaries next year or so. He's spoken down there, and he's preparing to run. But in my mind, he's made a major mistake by not stepping up and going in front of this committee and telling them the truth. The people in this country need to hear the truth, because we still have a huge contingent of naysayers, many who believe that the election was stolen. And it would be good to hear from Pence categorically come out in public and say there was no election fraud. But I think he blew it. So I leave you with that this morning. A disgraced vice president who doesn't know which way to turn. Take care. Bye.